Hi friends and welcome to Aksh Animation. So in this tutorial we are going to create Coca Cola bottle motion graphic video which will look something like this. It's very small animation and you can see it at the end of many Coca Cola ads, especially in the latest ad running across the India. And I'm also not sure about the ads running in other countries, so just leave it because it doesn't matter. We just have to focus how to create this spinning bottle video. So let's start. Well, I have already made some assets here, like this bottle, few shapes on the bottle to give it a realistic look, and a white background made with this solid layer. So this is the bottle layer. If I expand it, you will get two shapes in it. Actually, I have made only half shape of this bottle with the pen tool, and then I have just duplicated this layer and flipped it by setting its scale property to -100 on the x-axis. By doing this, you will get rid of drawing both sides and you will get both sides exactly same. Now for making other shapes on the bottle, I have just used pen tool and ellipse tool as you can see here. These are very basic shapes and I am very sure that you can create it in your way. Alright, it's time to complete our bottle. I have imported Coca Cola logo here which I have found on Google. So I am going to drag it to the timeline and go to the effect, color correction and use levels. Now drag this tiny triangle to the right side so that logo will become pure white. It's too big image so we have to scale it. Press S to open scale parameter and let's resize it to 20%. It's still big. Let's try 15%. Still big. I think it should be 12%. Okay, fine. Now let's change its position and set it exactly same as in the ad. Now our bottle is complete, but our logo is looking very flat. I don't like this. It should be in 3D space. What I trying to say that a bottle is always in rounded shape, and when a logo is printed on the half shape of the bottle, it will be in rounded shape too. So logo should be in curve on z axis. I mean first and last letters of logo should look small while middle letters should look big to give it a realistic shape. And we can do it in After Effects using the power of Ray Trace 3D. And this feature will be available to you only if you are using version CX6 or higher. Low versions have not these features. So if you try to pre-compose this layer, it will not give us any option to convert in ray trace composition. So we have to make a new composition. Let's call it logo. Basic settings will be same and in advanced section, choose Ray Trace 3D instead of classical 3D. Everything else are fine. Now just OK. Everything looks same as classical 3D, but here we will have some new features when we convert a layer to 3D. So go to Comp 1 and copy this logo layer and paste it in the logo composition. And let me delete it from Comp 1. Now go to the logo composition and make sure you have set this preview to fast draft. If it is set to final quality, it will take a lot of time to preview it when we use the power of Ray Trace 3D. Now do the same thing for Comp 1 and now go to the project panel and put this logo composition to the Comp 1. It will look like the previous created scene. If you notice, this logo composition is covering the whole logo area while being a very small logo only. Although it's no big deal, but it will create problems when we try to select elements by clicking on the screen. In that case, it will always select the logo layer until we lock that. But fortunately, we can fix it. Just go to the logo composition and click on this tiny button which is region of interest. Now create area around the logo of any size you want, but it should always cover the elements of the composition and try to keep it as small as possible to solve our purpose. Now go to the composition and click on crop comp to region of interest, and it will crop the composition to the area you have drawn. And don't worry about the pixelation. Just set it to the final quality and fit screen to 100%. Got it? Now let me set it to fast draft again. Once you have cropped the composition, you may have to adjust its position again. You can say it's a small bug in After Effects, but it's just fine. And always make sure it's on fast draft. Now go to the logo comp and make the layer 3D. Now if we expand this layer properties, we will get these geometry options. And let me warn you, if you are using version CX6, you can use power of Ray Trace 3D even if you have a normal graphic card. But if you are using a higher version, you will need a very powerful graphic card to use Ray Trace 3D. You can check this by going to Edit, Preferences, Previews. Just click on GPU information, and here you can see for ray tracing it's using CPU instead of GPU. It works fine with CPU in version CS6, but higher versions require GPU to enable ray tracing. And this is why you need a powerful graphic card installed in your computer that supports GPU. And you may also need this CUDA driver to make it work, so be careful about it. Alright. Expand these geometry options and let's set its curvature value to the negative, and it will curve the logo in the Z space. I think -100 is too large for it, so let's try -97. Pretty fine. Now go to the comp one and we will have a 3D look of the bottle. Very nice. Now select these three layers and pre-compose them by going to Layer, Pre-compose. Let's call it Coca Cola. Now I am going to animate it using the position property. So press P key to open position parameter and set a keyframe. Now go to the 1 second and click on this diamond-like icon to set another keyframe which will have same values as of the first keyframe. Now come back to the first keyframe and move this bottle to the outside of the screen. Just preview it. It's very linear animation, so let's use some keyframe interpolation on it. Just select any keyframe and open Graph Editor. When we animate position of any object, by default After Effects set keyframe on both X and Y axis, but here in our case, we will only need keyframe on the X axis. So let's break it by clicking on this icon, and it will separate both X and Y axis positions. First deselect them and then remove keyframes on Y axis. Now we will have only one graph on the editor. Just zoom it by pressing plus key. And now let's add some ease on this keyframe. Use shift key to keep handle straight. Okay. You can also use some ease on this keyframe also by lowering down its handle, but I think it's fine for me. Let's preview it. Excellent. Close this graph editor and go to the logo composition. We will also have to use some ease on this logo. So let's first duplicate this layer by pressing Ctrl D and move it to the left side of the logo, something like this. Now let's create a null object. Select both layers and parent them with the null object so that we can control both layers by changing properties of only one layer. Now open position parameter of the null layer and set a keyframe. Now press Ctrl R to open ruler and let's place a guide here to measure the position of the logos. Now move these logos and put last logo at the same position and make sure positions of the both logos is same, otherwise it will not give a feel of spinning bottle. Alright, now again use the keyframe interpolation just like we did before. Just break it out and remove y-axis keyframes, zoom it, and just add some ease on the last keyframe. And obviously hold shift to keep handles straight. Okay, fine. Now go to the comp one and set preview option to the adaptive resolution because sometimes it may not display all things properly in fast draft. Now preview it. It may take some time to render it depending on your computer's configuration. Cool. Now our bottle looks like it's spinning while it's only a 2D graphic. And if you are using a lower version and have not ray trace option, you can use blur effect instead, which is in distortion effect. It will not give the exact result as ray trace, but you can use that to achieve good effect on the logo. Alright friends, I hope you have enjoyed it and don't forget to subscribe our channel and like our Facebook page to get more stuffs. Thank you.